Hi, this is Raina Nices, your host for a Season of Caring podcast, where we share stories of hope for family caregivers, breaking through the busyness and loneliness of caregiving to see God, even in the midst of your caregiving season. I'm excited to have you here today with us, and I'm looking forward to introduce you to Manjeet Singh. Manjeet is a registered nurse and founder of Healthcare Heroes, PLLC, and the creator of the 5 Undeniable Laws of Holistic Health and Wellness, a life-changing framework that helps people reform balance through sleep, boundaries, vitality, rhythm, and hydration. With over 15 years of hands-on nursing experience in critical care settings, Manjeet blends clinical wisdom, faith, and lived experiences to help caregivers and professionals live with clarity and peace. Now based in Frisco, Texas, he leads workshops and creates wellness tools for hospitals, schools, and corporations. His mission is simple, yet powerful: to reconnect people with the healing rhythms God designed in nature. Manjeet believes caregiving is a calling, and no one should answer the call at the cost of their own health. Welcome, Manjeet. It's so good to have you here today.
Rainy, thank you so much for having me, and God bless you.
So tell us a little bit about how caregiving's impacted your life.
So, Rainy, I'd like to take you a little years back. When I came to United States, I was a young kid, just had turned 20, and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I have lived that life for a long time. So that is how I came to experience that early in my life, what it be like to be a patient. And I fought a very good fight, but ultimately, in my mid to end 20s, I lost my colon. So my personal journey that I have lived, but I want to tell you what a great country we live in here in the United States of America. Even with my ostomy, I applied to be a nurse, and with the University of Texas, Arlington, I got accepted. I did my nursing there and I became a nurse, and I did my nursing with ostomy. So that's the little personal experience from a patient to a nurse.
Yeah. So caregiving looks like you've been the recipient and then been in a professional role of caring. I know it's also impacted you on a personal level.
Yes, it did. Out of nowhere, my mom, she was with a very good health, no sneeze, no cough, perfect health, right? And one time she had a fall, we took her, and it's just happened last year, 2024. We took her to the hospital, came to realize that she has a very huge brain tumor. And it was one of the cancer that was very rare. There's no treatment. Doctors told us 3 months, but by the grace of God, extended 4 more extra months. We were able to enjoy her presence in our life for good 7 months. But God took her home last year, July 26, 2024. So that was the personal journey that became like not being a nurse, but from son to a mom.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's very personal.
Yeah, I hear professional caregivers say all the time that you are professional nurses or doctors, whatever, in those roles, that when it becomes your loved one, it's a whole different experience. And so I think that's part of why it's so important to me to have caregivers on the podcast sharing with caregivers, because we can have a whole lot of head knowledge, but when it hasn't hit our heart yet, it's a whole different ballgame. So I appreciate both your professional experience and all that you've learned from it, but then also that helplessness that you feel as your loved one is journeying and you're able to walk them all the way home.
No, thank you so much. So kind of you to say those words.
So what's a favorite caregiving story you can share with us?
I'll stick to my personal side of the story. Me and mom, it's just like during the evening, nighttime, reading the scripture and just holding her hand gently and just knowing that where she was headed. And it was just very inspiring to see mom's faith, even though we were going through as a family chemo, radiation. Those were the days that I live. It's been a year, but looks like mom is with me.
Yeah, I think those times that make us slow down and really just be with them have such meaning and are so important. In the thick of a long caregiving season, sometimes we forget to enjoy those moments, but definitely as we get closer to walking them home, we have more and more of those moments where we just cherish it because we know that they're limited.
100%. Yeah. No, definitely.
So what would be one thing that surprises you most in the caregiving?
Rennie, I would say that we cannot pour from an empty cup. I'll say that, So often what happens is we try to do so much and we just try to run with empty gas tank. And that is something that's very surprising to me is how much help we as a caretaker also needs while we are taking care of the loved ones. And that's where I want to thank you for bringing that awareness and doing this podcast.
Yeah, I think as caregivers, when we become caregivers, all the things that we did before and kind of took for granted have a tendency to get pushed aside, that taking care of ourselves thing. And it's not easy in any season of life. I don't think it's not natural to just some of the things that are so important. We just kind of naturally let them fall aside. But caregiving definitely puts us in a place where we think less about those things. And I love that that's part of what you found in what you're doing now, and educating and helping people to think about how to care for their bodies and how to care for themselves in ways that maybe we've started to just totally forget about.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. Connecting with nature, taking care of their bodies, it in faith. It helps so much that you know that you're not alone. So 100%, I encourage all that.
So share with us a time when you knew that God just really showed up for you in caregiving.
I'll say through the whispers in that night shift, moment of peace in chaos, when you know your loved one is deteriorating and you feel, like you said so beautifully, you feel helpless. It's just that divine strength that comes into the presence. And then you know that even though your efforts are limited and we can only do so much, just knowing presence of God is in that room, it's just those are the things that you really cannot describe in words. It's just those moments just has to be filled. We cannot see air, but we know there is air that we are breathing, and we just know there is a God, and we know where our loved ones are headed. I would say definitely I've experienced God throughout the process that way.
Yeah, I love that reminder of just the air that we breathe. We know that he's here. And when we stop to acknowledge that and really see his presence in that way, it is always there. But sometimes I think in the thick of it, we forget. And so I love that reminder. As we're talking to caregivers and we're thinking about maybe those that are just starting on their journey or even halfway through, what are some things that you would recommend or that you found would be helpful to them?
I'll say whatever you're doing. I use the quote from Mother Teresa. It's not about how much you do, it's how much love you put into doing. And it's not how much you give, it's how much love you put into giving. It's all about love. If you're taking care of your loved ones, you're doing it for the sake of doing, not good. You will run out very, very soon. If you put the love into doing, I'll say that's the main thing. It has to be genuine. You will not only feel good, but the blessings that you will get from the one that you are taking care of is going to be true. And you will receive those blessings, not only from the patient, but also by God as well. So that's something I encourage. Even though you are in shock, it's a news that your loved one is diagnosed with whatever. That's the reason you are taking care of them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. But because God has put you in that place, do it sincerely, do it with heart.
So I think that's the really wise words. I know in the middle of my caregiving with my dad, we had challenges getting ready for bed at night. And I think that's probably not unusual for those that are living with Alzheimer's. Their processing is just, they're done. So being able to understand what I was asking him to do, and that became such a difficult chore, sometimes could last hours of just trying to get him into his pajamas and get him into bed. And my husband reminded me, what would happen if you just gave him a hug in the middle of all that? And it was like, oh, well, that would just make you mad. I mean, he immediately kind of pushed back. But it reminded me in the moments from that time on to stop and say, why are you doing this? You're doing this for him.
Yes.
You're doing this because you love him, not because he needs to go to bed, And sometimes I think we can get so focused on the task that we forget to focus on the person. And so I love that reminder of all that we do it in love. And it definitely does make our jobs easier. And it also, like you said, has those benefits in the long run. We have those moments and those memories that are precious, whereas we're not just rushing past them all, but we're actually engaging with the person that we're caring for.
Yes, 100% I agree.
So share with us what your 5 undeniable laws of holistic health and wellness are.
Yes. So thank you for asking that. That's the framework that I was able to build and follow. And it was really instrumental for me. He can make it so simple and put it into a simple steps. Then life truly becomes easy, especially when your life is so stressful, especially when you're taking care of your loved ones. It's very hard to take care of you at the same time. But if there is a system, then it becomes easier. So what I say is the program that I've created is called, the acronym is S.L.E.E.P, S-L-E-E-P, and S stand for sleep. That's the very first thing. L stand for limit your boundaries. First hour before we go to bed and the hour after we wake up, actually protecting our subconscious mind. And so much things happen when we let the world take over that precious hours from us, let the social media and everything take control over that. We just bring all that chaos. You already are dealing with so much. You do not need the external chaos. So if we can protect those boundaries, then it becomes so instrumental. And the law number 3 is the law of vitality. I train everyone or teach this in my principles. Start your day with the 3 S's: silence, sweat, and sunshine. And when you do that, even though despite of your current situation, when you open your mouth and you say, Lord, I'm able to see this day. I know hundreds of people not able to wake up this morning. You've given me this opportunity and I'm very grateful. That little simple joy when you're rising up, you're able to get up from that bed, able to do all the daily activities, simple things, Thank you. There is clothes on my body. There's food on my table. There is roof on my head. There's a car that I can drive to. There is a job that is taking care of my meals. Every single thing, Thank you that you brought this opportunity that I'm taking care of my loved one. And out of all the relatives, I'm here at this moment. And I thank you for this opportunity. When you shift your mindset, it really makes big of a difference. And sweat, when I say, it means exercise, get the body moving, get that heart pumping. And sunshine, the most powerful antidepressant dose God has given to humanity is the sun. The 4th thing that I teach in my program, law of circadian rhythm. So when everything becomes so chaotic, we tend to eat whenever we want. We can go to the fridge in the middle of a night, eat whatever, and not knowing that everything is adding up to more chaotic in our life. The last thing that I teach is water is life. That's the law of hydration. And if we can just do those simple things and hydrate ourselves in a good manner, along with we are taking care of our patients, we are reminding them, okay, it's time for you to drink water. How about you? You're also a human being who is taking care of that loved one. You also need to be, as you're giving that sip, make sure you have your pitcher with you as well. Take that sip also for you. You also have a body. You also have a beating heart, warm body. You also need to take care of yourself.
I love that they're practical. I love that they are things that equal self-care, but at the same time, they're really practical ways of doing that. I think as caregivers, I know when I look back on my caregiving, sleep was really difficult sometimes because my dad wasn't sleeping well. And so I was really thankful that I was only there 3 nights and I had 4 nights and that I could have my rhythm and routine that gave me good sleep. But I also had to adjust and say, okay, I'm not getting the sleep that I need. How can I get a nap in? How can I do this differently? I'm a night owl. So I had to train myself to go to bed earlier because he went to bed really early. And so in order to get the good sleep, I think we have to problem solve and we have to value it. So many times in caregiving, we forget to value those simple things.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And when we connect with nature, I mean, the miracle happens. There is no substitute. We can use all the technologies today's day and time, but the technology we are using today is destined to be outdated tomorrow. But if we connect with something that is so fundamental, something so foundational, and it's just like we as a human, we gotta eat, we gotta drink water, we gotta sleep, something so basic that you really cannot go wrong when you do something like this, incorporate holistic life and wellness in your life. You are bound to see the good results. It's just part of becoming a nature.
And like you reminded us, the people that we're caring for need all of these things too. And so if we learn to align our rhythms with what they are doing, that will also help bring us both into alignment. So when they take that drink, you take the drink, but also get them outside, give them that vitamin D from the sun, spending the time being able to do those things together can also make it easier. And so keeping in mind that you need it, they need it, how can we do it at the same time versus just trying to focus only on what they need.
Yes. And it's a win-win at the end of the day. If you both are doing it, they are going through a particular process in their life they're diagnosed with, and they're taking X amount of medications, but knowing that when it comes to anatomy and physiology, you as a caretaker has the same anatomy and the same physiology. And if you're going to sleep, eat food, drink water in the right manner, in the right quantity, that is going to aid you so you can become more better of a caretaker that you're taking care of. So it's just going to be a win-win. The patient you're taking care or the loved one that you're taking care is winning. At the same time, you're getting the benefits of the nature as well.
I really appreciate you sharing that insight. As we close, if you can answer one more question for us today, what would be one thing that you do to live content, love well, and care without regrets?
I will say that whatever you are doing, be genuine in whatever it is. Do not do anything that like year from now or something that you look back and just be true to yourselves. Treat everyone with respect the way you want to be treated. Is this a golden rule the universe follows? But if you do that and just be genuine, it's makes a big world of a difference.
Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. And let us know, how can they find out more about your framework and your workshops and things that you're doing?
Yes. Thank you again for what you're doing, and may God bless you. To find out more about my work, just go to healthcareheroes.global. And heroes is with an H. So it's HELTHCAREHEROES.global, GLOBAL. Rini, I would like to say, typically the course that goes on the website, if someone would like to take advantage of, it typically costs $97. If they are your audience, I will give 5 access free of cost. So not only one person, but the entire family is getting the value out of it. One more thing I would like to add, you said so beautifully, there is nothing points you to questions like what time did you wake up? How many glasses of water did you drink? What time did you eat? And if you're setting a goal, next day, were you able to complete that goal? Or there is a medication that you were supposed to be taking or something like a journal. It's a digital journal that is going to be with that program. But for the entire family, it is going to be my honor if I can be a part of your journey through that program free of cost. It would truly be my honor.
So they would access that at your website?
Yes. Healthcareheroes.global. And they would be able to add up to 5 people from their family free of cost.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And I hope that listeners will take advantage of checking that out and being able to go through that course and learn more about how to just take care of yourself in whatever season you find yourself. Thank you again for joining us, Manjeet.
Thank you so much, and keep doing the good work in the world you're doing.
Thank you. Listeners, thank you for being here today to hear stories of hope with Manjeet. This is a Season of Caring podcast where we learn to live content, love well, and care without regrets. If you have medical, financial, or legal questions, be sure to consult your local professional and take heart in your season of caring.